Hi guys. I figured I'd do a quick review on my birthday presents myself. Plus, I haven't seen a review on this knife in English yet. I've only seen one review, and it wasn't in English. It was in, I don't know, something Eastern European sounding. So I'd figure I'd do at least the first one of my knowledge in English. Just real quick. This is the Down Under Knives Outback Eclipse. Let's turn it over. You can see the logo here. Awesome knife. Obviously, it's a copy or attempted a copy of the knife used in the Crocodile Dundee movies, which most of us knife lovers love those movies because of that knife. The original Outback model looks exactly like that knife. The sheath and the leather handle are all tan and look just like the movie. The Eclipse, the guards here, the difference is the Eclipse here, the guards are more polished and obviously everything's in black. The handle's still stacked leather, just like a K-bar, but it's dyed black all the way through. Kind of see that here. The lighting's not so great, but you get the idea. Um, Overall length of this knife is 16 inches. The blade is 11 inches of that. This is a beastly knife. The finish on it is fantastic, except that little spot right there. You can see the little black spot. That's the only little tarnish mark I saw on the whole knife. I can buff that out. That's not that big a deal. This knife, as opposed to the original Outback, comes in 1095 high carbon steel. The original Outback comes in 440C. So, just a personal preference. I've always liked the high carbon steel over stainless, especially when you're dealing with a knife of this size. 1095 tends to be more resilient with impacts, flex more than 440 tends to be a little harder and tends to not give as much, so you've got more chance of breaking the knife. Of course, it's all about the heat treat done on it, but given the exact same steel, heat treated to the exact same hardness front and back, I'll take 1095 over stainless. The original Outback only comes in stainless. The Eclipse does come in 1095. It does not come in 440C. They are the same price. They're both around 200 bucks. Plus, they'll get you for shipping, so you'll end up spending about 220 to get this knife in about 3 days. Obviously, not right now. It's almost Christmas time, but fantastic knife so far. I love the weight on it. It's very balanced. The point of balance is right here where the blade starts. For a blade this size, it really is very well designed to be not too blade heavy, to give you some speed with it. The sheath is decent quality leather. It's a little thinner than I thought it was going to be, but it's still, it definitely does what it does. It keeps the weight of the total knife down. The weight on this knife by itself is 28 ounces. The spine on it is a quarter-inch thick, or 6 millimeters, which I believe is a quarter-inch thick. I might be wrong. The swedge here looks sharp, and it's almost sharp, but it's not technically an extra edge. Similar, if you guys have seen the Cold Steel Trailmaster, how the swedge in the back is damn near sharp. It's a little bit, it's almost like that, not quite as sharp as the Trailmaster, and definitely wouldn't take much to put an edge on that if you wanted to. Again, the sheath retains the knife very well. I only have one hand. I don't have a camera holding device, but you can definitely put the knife in here, turn it upside down, shake it within reason, and it's not going to fall out even without the snap in there. It also retains the sharpening spike very well here in the sheath for the sharpening spike. I love the idea that it came with a sharpening spike, not just because it was in the movie, but also because it's a very efficient way to put a quick or touch up a blade when you need to in the field, as opposed to you see a lot of the survival knives that have the sharpening stone here on the front with a little pouch. You know, it's a 12-inch knife, and they give you a 2.5-inch stone that's about a half-inch wide and a quarter-inch thick, and expect you to be able to sharpen a knife like this with it. Are there people out there that can do it? Of course. Is that person me? Absolutely not. I just cut the tips of my fingers off or mess up the blade. it's only one grit also, so I much prefer the steel. That's what I use to touch up most of my knives anyway. It does a great job, so I really like that. These little bits here on the end are actually polished bone that are made to look like crocodile's teeth, which I do, adds a little bit of extra to the movie action of the knife. You can see these raised bits here on the front to look like crocodile scales. Very, very cool. Sheath just has a standard belt loop. Nothing fancy about that. Love the knife. Great fit and finish. Couple of things that I wish were different just a little bit. First of all, this knife didn't come as sharp as I was expecting it to out of the box. It came plenty sharp enough to where if you drag it across your forearm, just the way the knife, it's going to split you open. You're going to need stitches. However, it didn't come shaving sharp as was advertised. You can't shave with this knife. You can scratch the hell out of your arm and pull some hairs out, but you're not shaving with this knife yet. I'll take care of that later. So that's a little thing that I was kind of upset about, but I'll live. Still a cool knife, and I can still put an edge on it, no problem. Also, the sheath, what I really would like to see is a lanyard hole somewhere down here so it can be lashed to your leg. Because with a knife this size and the weight, it's going to be slapping against your leg just when you're walking around, or if you have to move kind of quick, it's going to be smacking against you, and it just all kinds of awkward. Also, for deployment, it's a lot easier to pull this knife out because the sheath does retain it so well. You're going to try to pull it out, and this is O-ring, and the belt loop is going to bend, and so it's going to be very difficult to get the knife out one-handed. I'd like to, again, see it flush against your leg would make one-handed deployment easier, but most of us aren't going to need to be in a situation where our life depends on a one-handed deployment, so it's not that big a deal. Again, mainly it's just going to be irritating slapping against your leg while you're doing whatever you're doing. Aside from that, I don't have any problems with this knife. It's beautiful. It's the finish on this again is just gorgeous. This model, the brass is polished more than the standard, which is awesome. I'm going to throw some brass on it and really shine it up here with my buffer pad on my Dremel. Get this thing awesomely shiny. Yeah, it's a great knife. So far, I have not cut with it though, so of course it's cut cardboard as of yet. I haven't taken it out and field tested it yet. This is just a first impressions video. I eventually will do that, but it's really rainy and horrible and muddy outside right now, and my work schedule's nuts, so I haven't had a chance. I'll do another video when I take this out and start cutting stuff with it. Well, guys, that's all I can say about this knife right at the moment. If you have any other questions, toss them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. Yeah, Outback knife, $220 shipped to your door most places. It's the same price as the 440C. The Eclipse is definitely a beast of a knife, and still really, really awesome for those of you that like the movie. So, if you want to pick one up, I highly recommend it. Yeah, talk to you later, guys. Bye.